areas where we should keep identifying how they can do better. But I just found that, when I grab the minister, close the door and tell him, listen, just get, this is, a lot of our business people think we can do better here. Let's get on with it. I find that things just get done so much more quickly and so much more effectively, rather than if he reads in the paper, I told him what a lousy job he's doing.
Where to start? Okay, gentleman there in the third row, you had your hand up first, and then we'll go to you, sir, and then we'll get to you. And then we'll move over to this side of the room. Okay, try and keep your questions short and brief.
My name is Christian Putsch, Africa correspondent of Die Welt, a German publication. Quite a number of very, very successful African business people have gone into politics. Here in South Africa, Toki Sexwale, Cyril Ramaphosa. You care a lot about the people, quite obviously, with your foundation, with your personal background. Is that anything that you would consider? Maybe you could make an even bigger change on the political level?
Let me tell you, you need people who, I think, we could make a greater contribution as a family, and with all humility, I think I could most probably make an even more significant contribution by keep trying to bring people together, and also keep saying the things that are politically inappropriate, incorrect, and because once you get into politics, you've got to look at a constituency, and at times get that constituency to keep voting for you. And what South Africa needs is, the excitement of this country is the future of all our people. We've got an incredible wealth of talent and of people, but we have to focus on the poor. We have to focus on the poor. But if my name is Jan van der Merwe or Sipho Dlamini, I've got to believe that this is the best place to live in the country. Not because some politicians say that, they don't even care what the politicians say, but because of my experiences and what I see on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, moving on. Gentleman there, then we'll go to this side. I'm not forgetting you. Okay.
Chris Spillane at Bloomberg News. I'd be interested to hear your sort of opinion and insight as to the opportunity in Ethiopia for businessmen. And as a side question, South Africa seems to be getting a bit of a kicking in this whole FIFA situation. I was wondering if you had any words of support or defense for your country.
About FIFA?
Well, whatever you fancy.
I'll tell you, they asked me this. One of my wonderful ladies asked me the question, and I learned many years ago. I was taught many years ago, don't express an opinion until you know the facts. And with the greatest amount of respect, I've been traveling for the last few weeks. I'm so in the dark on the FIFA issue. But again, and I sort of fumbled my way in trying to express an opinion. And I just thought, the critical issue is that, and she was telling me about Mandela, excellent. But the critical issue is that we have to be seen as a country. And let me say, I have total confidence that, and you have to start on the basis that everybody is innocent until proven guilty. So you've got to start on the basis that South Africa should have done all the right things. And that's what I have confidence in, and that's what I expect. And as a starting point, and then she said to me, of course, the facts show something else. Now, I don't know what the facts are. But we have to be seen to be a country that adheres to global best practices and at no stage get involved in behavior that can be interpreted as improper behavior and conduct. And let me overemphasize, I start on the basis that we will, that we behaved in a proper way, that we are innocent until proven guilty. What was your first question?
Very briefly, Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Now again, many of the African countries that were not competitive in terms of attracting investment are now exceedingly competitive. So, we don't have a right as South Africa to investment that other countries do not have. We all have to compete. So Mozambique is doing well. Botswana has always done well. Ethiopia is an exciting destination. Ghana has always done very well. Kenya. So, some companies are asking themselves, where should I open my head office? Is it South Africa or is it Kenya? And I know a number of companies, a number of really exciting, great companies that have chosen Kenya above South Africa. So we've got to pull up our socks and
Lady at the back.
give them a reason to come here rather than elsewhere.
Hi, Lee Middleton from Quartz Africa. There's been a lot of talk about leapfrogging and that being the answer for Africa, for the continent, going forward. So I just want to ask you what concrete things the private sector should be doing to catalyze innovation and technology and this dream of leapfrogging, and then on that as well, what are the challenges to leapfrogging?
I'll say this, this country's got exceptional business people and CEOs and a private sector. And I can assure you, the issue of leapfrogging is something that has been looked at across the board. Some of the greatest investors on the continent are South African-based companies. And in technology has an incredible opportunity in terms of Africa not having to go through the processes of developing the technology that many countries, the 5, 7, 10-year period of developing those technologies. M-Pesa, I'm excited. I was briefed a few weeks ago that the money that gets transferred through M-Pesa in Kenya, much, much bigger, much more significant than the money that gets exchanged through the banks. Exciting. 700 million cell phones in Africa, double the size of the American population. Exciting. As we speak, there's technology being developed in certain areas. M-Pesa leads the world in terms of mobile, money transfers.
Okay. Gentleman here, lady at the back afterwards.
My name is Sami Sillanpää. I'm a correspondent for Finnish newspaper Helsingin Sanomat. The mining industry in South Africa has, over the course of the history, created enormous wealth, but to a relatively small number of people. And now at this forum today, there's been a lot of talk about the inclusiveness of a growth. So what should and could be done in mining industry to make it benefit a larger number of people in this country?
Very good question. Let me give you an example. I grew up in a place outside Pretoria, and my family had a grocery store and a bottle store and a beer hall, because at the time. And to your question of inclusive growth, I saw my parents pay for the school fees of children in the village and do various other things that reflected their recognition that they had no future if the people in that community didn't succeed or grow. It's, these things happen subconsciously. Those of us who are in the mining industry, both in terms of what we do, but also in terms of the experiences of our workforce. It's, I can say one thing, but I guess it's more important what the workers who work for us experience. And we've got a lot of work to do. At some stage, the whole industry needs a fundamental review. I've got no doubt about it. And part of that fundamental review and a fundamental new dispensation, at the heart of it must be what you're calling inclusive growth and shared growth, but what I would refer to as stakeholder benefits, stakeholder engagement, a deep commitment in realizing that I've got a duty to all shareholders. I also have a fundamental duty to the shareholders, who are the people who gives us the money to go and open these businesses. If my shareholders who sit in London, New York, or wherever don't think that the mining industry is a good place to invest and will give them competitive returns over an extended period of time, I do not have a mining industry. So I can guarantee you there's a huge commitment on the companies that I'm associated with and And I know that the mining industry as a whole is committed to engaging in a manner that creates a future that is good for all its stakeholders.
Lady there, second from the back. You've got a microphone behind you?
Thank you. I'm Sasha Planting from MoneyWeb. Staying with the mining industry, we tend to talk of it as a sunset industry. Can you share some thoughts on how we can turn it back into a sunrise industry, how we can attract investment, how we can encourage exploration?
Yeah, very, very important question. Again, we are not the only country that has got a monopoly in relation to the minerals that the world wants. I mean, there are many countries in Africa, and there are many countries in other parts of the world, in South America as well as. I mean, we've got a copper gold mine in Papua New Guinea, world class. We employ many, many people there. And I mean, the deposit is exceptional. We've got a copper mine in Zambia. There's a challenge in relation to the global price of copper. But I remain optimistic about the future of the mining industry. There are challenges. There are challenges about our engagement with labor. We have to re-engage with labor. I admire the way the German system has managed to really involve labor as a partner in the growth of the businesses. And that's partly why, German industry worldwide is really outstanding. And America and the UK is also, the good progress has been made there. But the commodities industry is a long-term industry. There'll be times when, like now, things are difficult. We think for us it creates opportunities in terms of acquisitions and partnerships. But you do have to take a long-term view. But at the heart of this new dispensation has to be government, labor, and us have to come together and have a relook in terms of how we can reposition, restructure this industry for the benefit of all stakeholders.
Okay, gentleman here, and I think maybe try one more question after that, and then we have to close.
He comes from a newspaper in the townships. If I don't answer, they won't allow me in that. They won't allow me in that township.
Okay, very good evening, Mr. Motsepe. My name is Stuart Lisulo, senior business reporter with the Post newspapers based in...
For the Post?
Yes, based in Lusaka, Zambia. My question basically centers on the mineral royalty taxes, which was a hugely controversial issue in Zambia. They were raised to 20% for open-cast mines and reduced back to 9%, which is still considerably higher than the regional average. So the question, to put it very straightforwardly, is can Zambia, as a mining investment destination, still remain competitive amid that high tax rate? Not to mention, of course, the hike in low sulfur gas, diesel, and electricity charges as well.
It's very, let's sidestep Zambia and look at Chile, and then I'll come back to Zambia. Chile has done very well. I mean, I know the CEOs of some of the largest copper companies in Chile, and there are times when the price of copper went up and the industry did well, and sometimes regulators only remember when the price and the governments keep in mind or remember the time when things were good, when the prices